it is here that the ecclesial movements are needed, because its members live in a secular world and are thus available to evangelize in that world. This morning, Manoj was talking about our Jesus Youth homes being safe places for young people to hang around. And I believe this is exactly what Pope Benedict XVI had in mind when he said that movements are the place that helps Christians to feel at home in the church. It is so true as we sit here as part of the Jesus Youth movement. It is a family gathering. We're so much at home. Also, these movements are gifts for the church, and they give her a new vitality. Movements are powerful ways in which faith is present. And all of these ecclesial movements bring ministries and missions that do not belong just to the local church, but serve the task given to the whole church. In fact, we join in the universal apostolic mission in the task of spreading the gospel. And so what is the call of the Jesus Youth movement? We see that like all other movements, we are called to be a movement for life in every sense by letting ourselves be enlivened by the Holy Spirit. We are called to be a school of freedom, to show others by our lives how beautiful it is to be truly free with the freedom of God's children. And we are called to be at the service of unity and with our missionary zeal to collaborate even more in the Pope's universal apostolic ministry that is opening doors to Christ. Now, Pope Benedict XVI lists several risks or infancy diseases or sicknesses, as he calls them, to which movements could be exposed. Some of them are tendencies to exclusivity and one-sidedness, leading to the absolutization of the movement, conflict with the local community, making them unable to insert themselves into the life of local churches. Now, how or where do we find remedies? If we go through the writings of Pope John Paul II and Pope Benedict XVI, we may get a lot of remedies, and I just want to remind you of some of them. One, they call us to open ourselves to an education by the Holy Spirit and also by the leadership of the church, to acquire a selflessness without which we cannot accept or give an interior consent to the multiformity in which the faith is lived out, to accept other movements and associations, to learn from them, to put up with them, to allow ourselves to be purified by them, and to always keep in mind that we are a gift to and in the whole church, and that we must submit ourselves to the demands of this totality in order to be true to our own essence. Now, where does the Jesus Youth stand? Even as our Jesus Youth movement leaves its infancy period far behind, I believe we're also leaving any questions, uneasiness and tensions, prejudices and reservations that our movement has given rise to in the last 25 years. It has been a testing period of our fidelity, a time for verifying the authenticity of our charisms. And we find today, as we stand at the threshold of the Jubilee, that a new stage is unfolding before us, that of ecclesial maturity. This does not mean that all the problems have been solved. Rather, it is a challenge. It is a road to take. The church expects from us the mature fruits of communion and commitment. Let us therefore look to what is essential and rediscover our reason for being, that is, to serve our mission in the church. Now, some criteria of ecclesiality. According to Pope Benedict XVI, movements are not and cannot be organized or planned by authority. Movements are gifts. They are given. They must be given, he says. And so there arises a need for criteria of discernment. The purpose of these criteria is to verify the legitimacy of these movements, to verify their ecclesial character. And Pope John Paul in Christofidelis Laici enumerates 5 criteria. The first being the primacy given to the call of every Christian to holiness. Is our movement an instrument for holiness? The responsibility of professing the Catholic faith as the Catholic Church teaches us. The witness to a strong and authentic communion, communion with the universal Father, the Holy Father, the Pope, communion with our bishop, communion with all the apostolates of the church, communion with all the other movements. A commitment to a presence in human society, serving the well-being, the dignity of the whole person. Conformity to and participation in the church's apostolic zeals, a call for missionary zeal to work for evangelization. And it is heartening to note that all of these fundamental criteria that I've mentioned can be used to assess our own movement. And we find that all of these criteria are beautifully reflected in the movement, in the JY statutes, particularly in the 6 pillars. And I was even more amazed to see how the actual fruits, the verification of these criteria are found in actual fruits that we produce. And these actual fruits of our movement are shown in our organizational life and in the works that we perform, almost exactly as it is outlined in Christi Fidelis Laity. I'm just reading it out for you. A renewed appreciation for prayer, contemplation, liturgical and sacramental life, vocations to Christian marriage, ministerial priesthood and consecrated life, readiness to participate in programs of the church, commitment to catechesis, capacity for teaching and forming Christians, and so on. And so we come to the end. Jesus Youth is a sign of hope. And along with all the other movements, we are part of the living structure of the church with our missionary movement, with our missionary commitment and all the formative efforts. It is a fact that by realizing the ecclesiology of Vatican II, our movement, along with other movements, are putting before the church a model of Christian communion which promises to profoundly change the church of our times for the better. We are clear evidence that the Holy Spirit is breathing new life into the Catholic Church. And what remains, therefore, at the conclusion of all these considerations is to borrow a phrase from Pope Benedict, gratitude and joy. So I would like all of you to repeat these 2 words as thanksgiving after me: gratitude and joy. For the fruits of extraordinary missionary zeal and sanctity of life, gratitude and joy. For the wonderful Christian families that have come into being, which are open to life through domestic churches, gratitude and joy. For the many vocations to priesthood and religious life that have blossomed, gratitude and joy. For the beloved John Paul II and Pope Benedict XVI, who have guided us with paternal affection, gratitude and joy. For the many bishops and priests and religious who blessed, supported, and accompanied us over the last 25 years, gratitude and joy. For the friendship created with other movements and moves of the Spirit, gratitude and joy. For all this and so much more, gratitude and joy. Thank you.